And then they saw me in a bra, and that was it.
And so here we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Guitar, Mike McCready. Guitar, Stone Gossard. Drums, Matt Cameron and Dave Cruson. On bass, the pride of Big Sandy, Montana, Jeff Ament. Vocals and guitar, Eddie Vedder. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my extreme pleasure and honor to induct into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame the legendary Pearl Jam. Thank you.
What's going on, Pearl Jam nerds? You are listening to Single Podcast Theory. I'm Brad Lyons.
And I'm Brad Blazek.
Welcome to episode 13, people. Thanks for all your emails last week. We're going to get to those in just a second. But we just want to remind you guys, you can find us on, Instagram is at Single Podcast Theory. Twitter is at Pearl Jam Podcast. You can search our name in Facebook. We're on YouTube. I feel like I've missed something. Maybe I haven't. Am I good?
Gmail?
Oh, yeah. Our email address. Oh, my God. You know, the whole section we're about to do. Yeah. You can email us at singlepodcasttheory@gmail.com. There we go. There's our housekeeping.
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
I'm good.
Busy week?
We kind of slowed down at work, and I didn't go to any concerts this week, so kind of just slowed down.
Chill mode.
yeah, which is nice, dude. Because during the summer, we are just slammed at work.
Oh,
it's
I
like
bet.
nonstop, and it's hot and it sucks, and the weather's been a lot colder here, so I love it.
Yeah, man, it's chilled out down here for sure.
Yeah.
It's nice jacket weather, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's almost scarf time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I can't wait to get the scarves out, man.
And I'm a shorts all year kind of guy.
And I'm a jeans all year kind of guy.
Yeah. Don't you get hot in the summer?
Nah, man.
Oh, God. I'm hot all the time.
I hate wearing shorts. I don't know why. Well, if I go that's not true. I mean, if I go hiking or something like that, then yeah, I'll wear shorts. But but just day to day, I mean, even if it's 100 degrees outside, I'm wearing my black jeans.
No, I own like one pair of jeans and one pair of like funeral pants, and that's it.
Yeah, it's funny. I keep all my shorts, so my shorts are this kind of are these the Fat Brad shorts? Are these the you've been doing
that's
all right,
all
bud?
I have.
It's funny though when I'm trying to I don't throw those things away because they're like I use them as like inspiration to lose weight. It's like I'm gonna get back into that pair of shorts or that pair of jeans, even though I start out I'm like, oh, I can wear those today, and then like the button, to button my jeans are like laughing at each other from 6 inches away. Like, nope, that's not gonna happen.
That's like me with shirts, because it's really hard to find 3X shirts, but that's what I'm like most comfortable in.
You like the baggy feel?
Well, it's not real baggy on me, but 2X is just too tight for me.
You know what's funny is that I remember, I mean, even just as a skitty little runt kid, I mean, remember like when that was the way to go? Like, you should be wearing a medium or a small, but you would buy your band shirts in like XLs. Or like 3 times bigger than what you should be wearing.
Oh yeah,
like that was kind of the jam. It was like the big rock and roll metal shirt, and like baggy. I don't know, baggy. What do they call those? With all the pockets.
parachute pants?
No, fucking parachute pants. Yeah, dude, I was rocking the MC Hammer parachute pants, bro. Let's date ourselves.
Yeah, dude, I'm an '80s kid.
Cargo pants. That's what I'm trying to think of.
Yeah,
dude, I had pairs of the camo cargo pants. I had the
Nobody could see you.
Exactly. Do you remember Spuds McKenzie?
Oh yeah.
Was that a thing where you were?
Oh yeah, definitely.
What else? Jams. Remember Jams? The shorts.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like the Hawaiian print.
Yeah,
shorts.
they're just crazy loud colors,
right.
and they go down to like your knees.
Yeah. His parachute pants was the ones with all the zippers on it, right?
No, parachute pants was MC Hammer, dude.
Oh, like Zubas.
I don't know what Zubas are.
Really?
I've never heard that word before.
That's what Zubas was like. What you'd see like the musclehead dudes wearing, big giant.
Oh yeah. No, I don't think it's
like MC Hammer.
thing.
What am I thinking?
Dude, his were huge.
Oh, I know.
Literally parachutes.
Well, Zubas had like all kind of crazy prints on them. Like that's when you said the jams.
Right.
But Zubas was like parachute pants, but they had like stripes on them or, lion prints.
Yeah, man. Remember the pumps? I remember.
Oh, the shoes?
Yeah, the Reebok pumps.
Yeah, pump it up.
I had a pair of those, man. I thought I was the shit.
Oh, I bet. But yeah, what was the like leather pants with like 50 zippers all over them?
I don't know. That didn't hit down south, I guess, because I don't remember that.
I guess not.
That
was an 80s thing.
Okay. All right, I guess we should get back to the episode. We just went through a bunch of 90s
fashion.
Yeah.
Oakleys, remember Oakleys?
Oh, hell yeah, dude. You remember Von A shirts?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man.
What was the ones that would change color, like if you were hot? Hypercolor. Oh,
yeah,
man.
Dude.
What were those windbreakers? It's like
members only jackets.
No.
I had one of those. I had a.
It was like sunscreen or like not sunscreen. They were these big like pullover jackets, and they had the giant logo across the front of them, and they were I can't remember.
Dude, I don't know. You got to look that up.
Yeah,
I want to know. And then the last thing I'll say, you can't forget the. Oh God! Why was my mind going blank? The boots.
Moon boots?
No, dude. The 90s.
I told you. I know. I'm going 80s, dude. I guess I'm more 80s.
I'm thinking
kid.
90s. Well, I mean, the jams and all that was 80s. Dude, why can't I think of the boots, the shit kicker boots that all the.
Oh, Doc Martens.
Doc Martens.
Yeah.
Had a pair of those. Anyway. All right, let's get to the emails, dude, because we got quite a few of them. I'm going to start with, I can't believe the rant we just went on. Anyway.
90s faction.
Yeah. All right, here we go. We're going to start with our good friend Jason Barker. What's up, Jay?
Jay Barker.
He says, heavy thanks for the introduction to the Metallica podcast by the other two dudes. The much more caffeinated version of you two. I guess that's kind of true.
Yeah, and dude, you sound like Clint. I don't know if you know that, but like you, I mean, I guess because you guys have been friends for a long time, just the cadence in the way you two speak.
Oh, really?
I hear it in your voice every once in a while. Like, especially if you get like animated, I'm like, oh, that sounded like Clint.
Man, we lived together, you know? That's my boy. But Jason, I'm glad you found Metal Up Your Podcast because it's badass. He said, I don't know why I never saw it before. I'm not new to podcasts, but I really just thought podcasting was for comedians and politics. The space between Sundays is now filled with Clinton Heathen's back episodes. That's awesome. He says, don't fret, guys. Blazer and the Lion will always be top shelf. Thanks, bud.
I love that, dude.
Yeah, man.
That's our wacky AM or wacky morning radio zoo team.
Blazer and the Lion.
Yeah. Up next, Alive.
Or a weird band name.
Yeah. Oh, that's like
Judah and the Lion.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, he says, Matt Cameron episode in my ears right this second. Pretty cool how you're keeping the episodic arc very disjointed. No rhyme or reason to the topics and delivery. I love it. He says, as opposed to going through drummers in order or album episodes one after another in order. And still your episode themes are timely to current events. Fist bumps, yo. Regarding that common question about which drummer suits which album, I think the lushness of binaural and the variety of Riot Act really required a technical drummer that can really lead and follow Mike and Stone all over the map. I totally agree with that. Someone who can go with the flow, but totally agree. But I totally agree with your adage. The drummer at the time is the best drummer for the time. And no, BL. Talking to me, you don't look like Stone, unless, of course, you wear T-shirts tucked into a belted pair of pleated shorts.
Yeah.
He says,
the dad look.
The dad rock, man.
Yeah.
He says, the ear fodder is good. Much love. Jay out. Thanks, Jason. Appreciate your emails, man. What you got next?
Let's see. We will go with Ryan Stapleton. He says, hey, Brad and Brad, as a longtime Pearl Jam listener, I will go in spurts where I'm listening constantly or take a breather. But whenever something exciting is going on, like a new album, that is cause for a prolonged deep dive. Along with Let's Play 2, your podcast has provided me with a much-needed shot of Pearl Jam reflection and energy. In anticipation of the Single Video Theory episode, I rewatched a film I haven't seen in many years. For any listeners who only have the VHS copy like myself, it's a bargain on Amazon for just $2.99. Plus, you don't have to steal it, Brad L.
I have it on VHS. I just I don't have a way to watch VHS, man.
Come on, dude, support the band.
I already bought it once.
He goes on to say, I also went back and rewatched the Unplugged episode on YouTube. I have seen the entire episode dozens of times, but thanks to Brad B, my life is now separated into BW and AW, which stands for Before Whistler and After Whistler. Damn you, Brad. I will never be able to unhear that. I'm sorry. I just, I report on my findings.
Dude, I seriously have not watched
You still don't?
Unplugged again because I don't want to hear it. And I want
to be ruined.
I want to get it out of my head that it's there before I can watch it again.
Yeah.
Because that's going to fuck me up, man.
Good luck. Last time you mentioned my ranking of each studio song. I guess he's the one, him and his buddy came up with, they ranked like every single song.
Oh, right, yeah.
So here is the top 10 I had at the time in no particular order. So no order. He's got Release, Elderly Woman, Last Exit, Not For You, Corduroy, Do the Evolution, Hail Hail, Rearview Mirror, Given to Fly, and Just Breathe. Thanks for everything. Keep up the great work. So that's pretty good top 10, but it's
really well, like, some of those wouldn't make it into mine. Not that matters, but it's a really well-rounded list.
Yeah.
You know, because he's got, like, Do the Evolution, but he's also got Elderly Woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Is that it for that one?
That's it. Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, thanks, man. We got Danny B. Daniel from Buffalo. He says, B&B Experience. Hey, boys. I just finished listening to episode 11, Matt Cameron. Once again, great show, despite all the sniffling, Brad Lyons. I'm better now, so we should be away from all the sniffling and coughing and, sinus hell. I got to say that I'm jealous of all the time my fellow single podcast theory listeners have to devote to Pearl Jam and the podcast. I enjoy the listener emails and how they describe following up an episode with listening to an album track by track based on your insight. That is pretty cool. I did go back to a couple days ago and I went to listen to Binaural, once again coming to the conclusion that it's impossible to rank the albums. I almost feel like my favorite is whatever I'm listening to at the moment. Here's a couple thoughts I had while listening to the Matt Cameron podcast. Based on your description of Eddie Vedder and Matt Cameron's relationship, it reminds me of when I was in the Army. They were all my brothers, but there's always that one guy that you feel closest to and share the same feelings about life, music, and pretty much everything else. 2 years ago when we had a reunion after 20 years, I inevitably started talking about Pearl Jam. The one guy looked at me confused and was surprised that they were still a band. I talked about some recent stuff, and he was even more confused. Needless to say, that brother is not my Matt Cameron. Also, I've been thinking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Why is Dave K in and the other drummers not? Also, boom, the man should be included. I love music and I love the idea of the Hall of Fame, but I never understood the criteria they consider. A couple of great topics for future pods that I'm sure you've thought about are the Hall of Fame induction and the contributions of Boom. Till next time, live in the present tense. Danny B. Well, guess what, Danny B? This is the Hall of Fame episode. We read your email, we listened, and we are giving it to you. So, so we won't cover that stuff right now because that's definitely some of the stuff that we're going to talk about. The drummer situation. Trying to figure out what not only the criteria, I think the criteria is pretty easily spelled out, but it gets complicated when you're talking about bands opposed to solo artists. So it's, a lot of bands that have made it that far have had at least one revolving member, and who decides which of those people are included, which is the case in this one. So we'll be talking about that in a little bit, Danny B. Thanks, bud.
Thanks, Danny. Michael Keene wrote in, "Hey Brads, big fan of the show here in Nashville. Just found out about it from the Pearl Jam forums this week, and I'm currently through episode 6. Wish I would have found you guys sooner because I was at the 7 o'clock showing of Let's Play 2 the day it came out too. That would have been cool to meet up with him."
Yeah.
And he says in all caps, "hug explosion." So
it was funny, while we were there, I was wondering if there's a chance that anyone that listens to the show was there,
Yeah.
That would have been cool to meet. We're so stupid. We should have put it on Instagram and Twitter and stuff and just said, come find us somehow, you know?
Yeah, I think we talked about it the episode before we went, but that was the other thing. I sat down when I was waiting for you, and I mean, the theater was, I don't know, half packed already with more people coming in, and I'm like, I'm so dumb. Why didn't I have flyers printed up?
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? I don't know how many people you think were there. 500 people.
It was packed, man.
Super Pearl Jam. I mean, you got to be a pretty big fan to go see a concert film. You know?
Absolutely.
And I'm like, we could have give out a bunch of flyers, but
sure,
whatever.
Dumb dumbs.
Hopefully, yeah. Pearl Jam has been my favorite band since I first saw them in 2003. I'm 34 and was into 10 and Versus during high school, but wasn't a huge fan until that first live show. Seen them 22 times now.
Damn.
And love to chat about them any chance I get. Yeah, that's 22 is pretty good. I wish I was up there. I had tickets to see them in 2003, but I ended up not going. But the podcast is super entertaining. Thank you. I love the Pearl Jam community and how we can talk about this band over and over like it's new. Also, I was at Lexington and Memphis shows Blazy speaks so highly of. Yeah, Blazy, you just got blazied. So I guess I got a new nickname. Dude, I'm 42. I don't think anyone's ever called me Blazy. So,
really?
Yeah, you would think.
Seems like an obvious one.
I know, right? So, anyway, I won't go too long. My top 3 albums. He's got number 1. Well, you want me to do? I'll do number 4. Number 4, he's got 10. It's got to be higher than 8. Yeah. You're
I wonder
right,
who that's directed towards.
Yeah. Number 3, Yield. 2 is Versus. And number 1, Binaural. So that's
hell yeah, man.
Yeah, dude,
I can't
I'm
put it
on
in my
board
number
with
1,
that.
but I fucking love that record.
Yeah, definitely.
It's so good to hear that it's as someone's number 1.
Yeah. And he says here at the end, also, I'd like to know what you guys think about Pearl Jam collecting. Posters, vinyl, merch, etc. Cheers, Michael. Dude, that's a whole nother fucking episode. We could do an episode on each one of those things.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you collect the posters.
I'm super into, I have to have a poster for the show I go to.
Right.
So I'm not as, I don't want to say insane, but some of these people that collect the posters are really into it, and some of them are worth a lot of money.
I bet.
I really just want some sort of physical thing to say I went to this show. It's not just Pearl Jam. I try to get something from every show I go to.
Yeah.
But some of these bands, they don't. I guess it's not a selling point for them, so they don't even have posters.
Right.
So I try to get like a flyer or something off the internet. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But as far as like vinyl and merch and stuff, I'm not like super into that. So
I'm into the vinyl.
It gets expensive, dude.
It does. Well, that's why my Christmas list this year is finally, my record player has been broken for like 2 years.
Oh, man.
And so I'm asking for a new one for Christmas. And I'm asking for the remasters of binaural. What else did they do? They just released 3 of them.
Yeah. Was it Yield?
No, it wasn't Yield.
No Code? It was No Code.
Nope. It was the back records. It was like, I think it might have been binaural Riot Act.
We're gonna get so many emails.
I know, dude.
Because
it's on my list. Right here. Let's see. I didn't ask for all of them. I asked for, here we go. Yeah, binaural. Oh, it is Yield.
And
is
No
it?
Code.
And No Code. Yeah, I was totally fucking wrong. God.
Okay.
I hate myself.
You can put your keyboards down, angry Pearl Jam nerds.
I need to quit drinking so much coffee. All right, cool.
Yep. Thank you, Michael.
Thanks, man. All right, we've got our good friend Janan. What's up, Janan?
Hey, Janan.
She some of this stuff is between us, kind of offline or whatever, so I'm not going to do the whole email. But she did say, I had another happy Monday thanks to you guys. Once again, I really thank you for all the beautiful things you said about me. You're so kind and humble. But because of you, I've become the crazy person on the bus. Yesterday, I was on the bus again when I was listening to you. I couldn't stop smiling and could barely prevent myself from bursting into laughter. I'm sure the people around me thought I'm crazy. Probably. But, you know.
I did. You know what's funny?
If you're happy, then it doesn't matter.
I was in Walmart yesterday listening to, I'm not sure what it was. It probably was Kevin Smith. But whatever they said, I started laughing like out loud walking around Walmart, and I thought of Janan saying I must look like a crazy person on the bus. So I do the same thing.
Yeah, I do too. She said that the last 3 minutes or 3.5 minutes of the Matt Cameron episode was funny. I laughed so hard at your conversation about your hair and getting bald, Brad B. Oh. Well. She says, I don't know other listeners, but I don't get bored of you at all. In fact, I know Kate. And she thinks just like me. Actually, I get sad when the episodes are over. By the way, Brad Lyons, you definitely look like Ryan Adams. I've never heard that before. And that wasn't directed at you, John. It's just like, yeah, here's the deal, man. I'm so like try to be low maintenance on the hair, but I also have this thing where it's like, you know, I still have hair, so I should have hair because what I do is I just let it grow to whatever point, and then I just wake up one day and grab the clippers and the 3-guard and I just cut it all off. So I'm trying not to do that this time, but yeah, man, it's the crazy just got out of bed, long hair in the face. That's what does it.
I'm envious. I just stare into the mirror like, please come back.
Should I do like a Locks of Love, but for Brad? For Brad B. I'll let it grow really long and then cut some of it off, and we'll just glue it to your head.
Yeah, I just want some bangs.
Yeah, nothing but bangs.
Right, that's all I need.
Oh God, that'd be amazing. She says, when I heard Eddie's words about Matt Cameron at the end of the episode, I got emotional. He definitely deserves a throne, quote unquote. So if you didn't listen to that all the way to the end of the last episode after the out. Or the Matt Cameron episode, not the Chris Cornell. It's a live clip of Eddie talking about how he never understood why they call the drum stool a drum throne until he worked with Matt Cameron, and that he's deserving because he's a king. And I think that's pretty awesome. She says,
"Yeah, that was cool."
Yeah, I love their friendship. I watched. I watched recently a footage that fans uploaded onto YouTube. Eddie invited Matt to sing "Just Breathe" with him in September at the Pilgrimage Festival, his solo show. It was beautiful. They have a very special connection, and I love it. Let's see. She says, I want to thank Patrick Bogle, for his recommendations. I watched them all as soon as I could. 2 days ago, I was watching their concert in 2005 from Chile. It was awesome. So thanks, Bagel, for getting all that stuff out there for the other listeners. And then I think she's referencing 2 emails back that you just read. Now I'm blanking on the name, but she says one of your listeners said that they ranked all Pearl Jam songs. She said that Kate and I also made our small lists. Kate made a top 5 and Janan made a top 10. She also said that they made their own imaginary set lists, which include the songs we wish to hear live at a Pearl Jam concert. That might be an episode topic. A lot of good stuff, Janan. Thank you. You ready for your next one?
Yes.
Did you disappear for a second? I was like, oh God, the phone line died.
No, I'm good. I'm here.
Did you have a stroke?
Our next one.
Because you seriously just disappeared. I could hear that you were moving around, but you weren't responding to me at all.
I was surreptitiously trying to open my phone.
Oh, surreptitiously. To get to my notes.
Yeah, I'm trying to
rocking that thesaurus, man. I like it.
This is, I think, our first email from Australia this week. Mm-hmm. Jason McIntyre. He says, "What's up, bromance brads?"
Love it.
Just wanted to drop you a line or two to let you know that you are fucking murdering. I live in Australia and have been a Pearl Jam fan since its inception. I was 19 in 1991 and remember listening to college radio one night when they played 3 songs back to back that would be the catalyst to my musical path that I still walk to this day. Those songs were Siva by Smashing Pumpkins off Gish.
Gish, man. I wore that thing out when that came out. I love Gish.
It's good stuff. Jesus Christ Pose by Soundgarden, and Alive. I was instantly captured by Eddie's voice. It was so honest and raw. I saw them in concert on the 95 Vitology Tour, and since then, once in London and 4 times in Sydney. Thank you for this podcast. Keep killing it. Peace and love, Jace.
Thanks, man.
Pretty cool, dude. Thank you, Jason.
Well, we got another Jason, and he's from Australia as well. Did the other Jason say where he lives in Australia by any chance?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, cool. So this is Jason Lynch from Sydney. He says, "Hey, Brads, I discovered your podcast 2 weeks ago and am now kind of obsessed. I've been listening back to back from the start during my cycling commute, and I've just caught up to the latest. The PJ obsessiveness has been laying dormant lately, but after seeing Let's Play 2 and then discovering your podcast, a fire has been lit that I fear can only be doused by a tour. Thanks for that. I fell in love with this band back in the early-ish 90s when my babysitter gave me cassette copies of Versus and Use Your Illusion 2. Dude, that's fucking awesome."
Yeah.
Those Pearl Jam and Guns are 2, and Metallica are some of my kind of early memories of being fascinated by rock and roll. So I get it.
And Use Your Illusion 2, I always liked that one a little bit better.
Yeah, I remember I could only when those came out, I only had enough money for one, and I could not decide which one to get. So I just decided.
Oh, dude, I was the same way with money, but I was like, well, of course you have to get one. It's the first one.
Yeah, that's what I did. I was like, all right, I'm going in order.
The OCD was like, you have to get one.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. Since my first show here in Sydney in '98, I've been #blessed to see 13 shows here in Australia. I didn't catch that the first time I read that. That's awesome. Oh, man.
I love it.
13 shows here in Australia and 12 Eddie Vedder shows. I can't get enough of this damn band. One day I'll see them outside Australia. I love sharing in your passion for this band that means so much to so many people. Speaking of experiences and meeting band members, I always thought Ed would be the unreachable one. My dream was, still is, to meet Stone. My son's middle name is Stone. He's been such a massive influence on my guitar playing. This said, I feel as though Stone would be thoroughly unimpressed if he met me, so maybe it's best left as a dream. That said, I've actually been lucky enough to have met a band member. Going back a bit, during the show at Sydney Football Stadium in 2009, Ed dedicated Light Years to the baby that my wife and I had lost just a few weeks earlier. Oh, man, I'm sorry. It was incredible to say the least. This band that outdates anything else in my world, that has been the backbone of everything I know, that played a song for us. That night also led to bumping into a dude that I'd met in line at the Melbourne show just a few days earlier. We shared some stories, the dedication, his experience. He's now one of my best mates, and I'm his son's godfather. Nuts. That is crazy. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Cut forward to Ed's Aussie tour in 2011. We're at Adelaide, hanging out with a few tour buddies in a bar. Lo and behold, we see Ed, Pete, and Smitty. My wife and I were fortunate enough to get a few minutes of one-on-one time with Ed. I was surprised at just how engaged he was. We took the opportunity to thank him for the song dedication. We talk more. He freaking pulls me in for a long, solid, firm hug. Such clear memories of how soft his hair was. Haha. He hugs my wife. He says to her, "It's okay, darling." Wow, I've always freaked out about how awfully awkward and regrettable it would be if I was ever faced with the opportunity to meet Ed. But he was truly caring and compassionate, and it is a moment that I will always treasure. That's, man, you know, like you said before, like hearing people say, like, don't meet your heroes or whatever.
Right.
And
yeah.
like with Kevin Smith, your experiences with him, and then hearing stuff like this, just...
Yeah.
You know, like I said before, I think it was last episode, like, I don't have to like the person to like their music, but hearing stuff like this just is the fucking cherry on top, you know?
Yeah, totally.
This band fostered a worldwide family of passionate and just plain amazing people I now feel close to across the world, some of which I don't see outside of a tour, but reconnect with instantly every time we are back on the road. I love touring. I totally get the GA thing. I'm a sucker for a line. I line up for iPhones the night before. I don't know why. PJ lines, however, that's a whole nother thing. Hanging in line, talking shit for hours. I like how you hate talking to people. The pre-post beers at the pub with old and new friends, spotting a PJ t-shirt or poster tube at the airport when boarding a flight to the next show. It's just so inexplicably great. If either of you are ever in Sydney, I totally owe you a beer. Keep up the great work, Jace. Thanks, dude.
Yeah, very cool.
That'd be awesome if we could get to Sydney.
Yeah.
Australia is like, I've done a lot of traveling with touring overseas and stuff, but I never got to go to Australia, and I never got to go to Japan. So maybe this show can find a way for us to get to Australia, dude.
I don't know how long is that plane ride?
It's like a 23-hour. Yeah, I think I would lose my shit, but
yeah, I don't know, man. I flew a few times, 3.5 hours. And I'm the last 45 minutes, I'm dying.
Really? Just anxiety or what?
Yeah, I just can't sit still for that long,
dude. One of my first long overseas flights was we were playing a show in Stockholm, Sweden, and so me and the drummer we had really bad flight anxiety, especially I think that was like a 9-hour flight.
Yeah.
And so our plan was, okay, it's an international flight, free booze, so let's just get fucked up and we'll pass out and then we'll be there, right? So the poor stewardesses were just looking at us like, oh my God, this is going to turn into a thing. But we were cool. We weren't rambunctious drunks.
Right.
We just kept ordering vodka. And there was one of those big like projector screens up on the wall that kind of had a little map of like the U.S. and then over to Sweden, and it had the lines. I think we flew out of O'Hare or something. And you can follow the plane, along the line to Stockholm.
Yeah.
And I remember falling asleep being like, I can't wait to just be,
I'll
totally
wake up
out.
when we're landing.
Exactly. So I wake up all puffy from being on the plane and hot and super dehydrated and like that dry mouth. And I looked up and man, that plane had moved like an inch. We still had like 7 hours left.
Yeah.
And then I could not get back to sleep. It was like one of the most miserable experiences on a plane I've ever had. But I'm much better about it now.
I flew from Atlanta to Vegas, and I think that was like 4 hours. And I was like you.
Yeah.
but it was only 4 hours.
Yeah. But
it was, I don't do good. And I'm not scared of being on the plane. I don't have that fear that a lot of people do. It's just sitting still for that long. Even if you get up and go to the bathroom, it's just like, I can't.
Yeah.
I have no patience at all.
My creative, imaginative brain that's where it gets the worst. Is like, I'd sit there and I'm thinking about that I'm in a tube in the sky, moving around 550 miles an hour. And I just imagine the plane coming apart, like a scene from Lost or something.
Yeah.
And like if I'm still alive, falling to the earth, like can I use my cell phone while I have service? Can I call and leave a message to like my mom or Leslie or somebody?
Yeah.
Like I go through this whole thing in my mind throughout the whole flight.
I don't know, dude. I'm just like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks so much for the email, dude.
Yeah, thank you.
What you got next, man?
This is Michael Lundy. Hey, Brads. I loved Brad B's story about taking his daughter to the A Day to Remember show. Taking kids to concerts always adds to the experience. In May, Andrea and I took our boys, 6 and 9 at the time, to U2's Joshua Tree tour in Seattle. And guess who came out to sing with Bono and the crew? Eddie. It takes a great singer to show up at a U2 concert and humbly upstage Bono at his own show. It was awesome.
It was pretty awesome.
I bet. Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Did you watch the clip?
I don't think so.
It's pretty awesome. You need to look at it.
What did they sing?
The song they always do. Oh my God. You keep going. I'll think of it.
Okay. Andrea and I agreed the show was so much better with our kids than if just the two of us went. Music is meant to be shared, and that's what you guys are doing. Since Let's Play 2, my oldest, now 10, is bugging me to take him to Pearl Jam, so hopefully they will play the PNW again soon. Yeah, dude, I've taken my daughter to a bunch of shows. My son went to... We saw Pearl Jam in Lexington last year, so... I love taking the kids to the shows.
Yeah, man.
He goes on, since others are still sending in their rankings, I'll finally give it a shot. So here we go. Number 10, Backspacer. Number 9, Avocado. 8, Riot Act. 7 is Lightning Bolt. 6, Binaural. 5 is 10. 4 is Versus. 3 is Vitology. 2 is No Code. And 1 is Yield.
Nice.
And thanks, Mike Lundy, Olympia, Washington. Yeah, I can't argue with that ranking. I'm pretty in line with all that.
And Lundy also sent us the Google spreadsheet, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to check that out and start inputting some numbers from all of our emails with rankings and see what we come up with.
It sounds like a cool idea. I just haven't had time to
this
check
week
it
is
out.
rough. By the way, I'm going to try and answer some more emails when we get done with this, but it's just been a crazy week. Sorry we've been a little bit late in responding to some of you guys, but it's going to come, so thanks. All right, we moving on?
Yeah, what do you got?
All right, see, I got Daniel Marini. Hey, Brad and Brad. I discovered your podcast last week and been listening nonstop. Awesome. While catching up, I was pumped to hear that you guys like Guns N' Roses because, like Pearl Jam, they were one of my favorite bands. As a guitar player, Slash and Mike McCready have been a huge influence on my playing. Same here. It's funny when you can hear it. Like, there'll be times where I'm playing or in the studio or something and have to do a lead, and I'm like, okay, Mike, I've listened to a lot of Pearl Jam. You know what I mean? It's don't rip him off, dude. He says, while I've yet to see Pearl Jam, I've seen GNR twice on their current tour and have been blown away at both times. I can only imagine how awesome a Pearl Jam show is. Hearing you guys recall past shows only makes me want to see them more. Keep doing what you guys are doing. Hearing you both talk about your favorite albums as well as songs has made me go back and listen to songs/albums I haven't heard in a while, and has made me discover some new favorites and rediscover some old ones. All the best, Dan M. Thanks, dude. And man, you know, Brad and I talk about all the time, doing this show has caused us to do the same things. Like, I have completely different ideas about certain records than I did before doing this podcast, and hearing all these emails and talking with Brad about stuff, and it's been a really cool way to rediscover a band that I've always loved, you know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, people will write in and say something specific about an album, and I'll go back and listen to that album in a whole different light. You know, I'll hear it in a different way now.
Right.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. Thanks again, dude. What you got?
Yeah, thank you.
What you got next?
Jason Strickland. He says, Dear Brads, first off, thank you listeners for rating and reviewing your show. I subscribed and downloaded all your shows and was up to date 2 weeks ago. You guys do a great show. This will help bring the fan community together. Well, thank you, dude.
Yeah.
Hopefully keep listening.
Absolutely, man. Thank you.
So a little about me. I'm a little younger than both of you, coming in when a friend recommended me to get the Yield album when it came out. I was into comics and collected Todd McFarlane's Spawn. He told me about Todd making the music video for Do the Evolution.
So good.
Yeah, dude, that's
I love
crazy.
It.
Oh, I just saw a tattoo, I think on Facebook, but somebody has a bunch of like panels from the video on their arms.
Oh shit!
Like a whole sleeve. Yeah, dude, it looks fucking badass.
That's crazy.
I'll have to. You know what? I'll try and find that and post it on Facebook and Twitters and all that stuff.
Cool.
He says, I tuned into MTV to catch the premiere. After that, I was hooked. I collected all the albums up to then and got the other ones as they were released. I've only seen them live once, April 15th, 2003 in Raleigh, North Carolina, which is also the only bootleg album I own. It was back when Pearl Jam and the Dixie Chicks were protesting George W. Bush. Eddie also held up a mirror and shined it on the audience. You saw them on that tour, right? Birmingham 03?
No. I wasn't living in Birmingham then.
Oh.
I was in Nashville, living on a tour bus.
I bet I'm thinking of Clint.
That sounds about right.
Anyway, yeah, I had tickets to that Birmingham show, but again, I didn't go. Fucking
dumb
family.
I'm just kidding, man.
Yeah. Yield, he says, Yield is by far my favorite album of theirs, with Wishlist being my favorite song. Thanks for the show. Thank you, dude, for listening. Yeah, Do the Evolution. That video is nuts, dude.
Well, and I was a Todd McFarlane fan too. And I still have like a lot of his run. Hello, pupper. Hey, dogger.
Can you hear him?
Oh yeah. Bunch of his run writing the Spider-Man comics too.
Yeah,
I've got a
dude,
bunch
I've never
of those.
gotten into comics. I've tried and I just can't. There's a few I've read here and there, but I just can't get into them.
Man, I love them.
I think because they go back, they're so deep. Like you can't start watching a movie an hour and a half into the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I can maybe there's some new ones going on though that are good that you could pick up on, like they're redoing the Old Man Logan Wolverine story,
right?
And those are pretty fucking cool.
Well, I mean, I read one. I got about halfway through it. What was it called? Why the Man? Have you ever heard of that? Why the Man? It's this dude named Why. All the males. It's kind of like it's similar to Walking Dead, where all the male. It's not zombies, but every male dies.
Oh, okay.
Except for one dude. He's like 19 or 20, and his name is Y. And it's all about him, like, trying to navigate his way through the wasteland of all women and no men without being caught.
Interesting.
That shit I love.
Yeah. Well, is that still going on, or is that an old comic?
No, I don't think so. But it's been like they're trying to make it into a TV show or a movie.
Oh,
and
that's cool. That'd be
awesome.
That'd be a good TV show, like a Netflix thing or something.
Yeah. It was that one was really good. But like I've tried because I like the X-Men movies. I like the Superman movies and Batman movies, but man, I tried to go back and read some of that stuff, and it's just like I'm totally lost.
Yeah, it makes sense though, because when I think about it, like I had a pull list at the comic shop here in Birmingham when I was a kid, and so I started pretty young with all that stuff. Like
yeah, I've only tried to get into it recently. I loved Mad Magazine as a kid.
Yeah,
I know
cool
that's not comics.
Sure, yeah.
But I've got tons of old Mad magazines.
I've got a whole long box full of just Walking Dead comics.
Yeah.
From I'm still trying to fill in some spaces, but I've got a ton of them. I love that comic.
Are they all in black and white?
Yeah.
Is that weird? Why? What is that? Is it just a?
Well, the covers aren't, but the inside is. I don't know. I like it.
Is it just an aesthetic thing? Or
I think so. Yeah.
Trying to save money, or
I don't think it's about money, especially at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, all right, cool. Are we going to the next one? I lost where we are. Okay,
you're.
I got Bagel next, man, and this is this is a heavy one.
Yeah, man.
So he says, Brad's, where to begin? Well, firstly, on Matt, his entrance into the band was a short-term blessing, a sharp change with Jack's sudden, unexpected departure, and ultimately a long-term positive. See, that's how I feel, but he gets more into it. Pearl Jam being to me mainly a live performance band first, it took a while to get comfortable with this drummer change. The 1998 U.S. and subsequent 2000 tours were a bit more subdued to me. While they have excellent shows among them, a bit of Yield and some of No Code got a bit buried post-Jack. Of course, two records that I really favor. By 2003, I think Matt's presence began to really take shape. He brought a couple of really excellent songs to Riot Act, and that tour to me, oh my God. And that tour was to me just lit with great shows night after night. I was fortunate to catch two shows on the 2005 Canadian tour as well that were stellar. Let's see. From there, life in my touring took a bit more of a here and there approach. Studio-wise, Binaural is a record that at the time of its release and still today I really love. But with hindsight and Lost Dogs, I see some disjointed aspects of it. Riot Act I probably like more than most, but in the end Lightning Bolt is probably my favorite studio recording during Matt's tenure. Interesting. I love that record too, but Binaural, man, fucking love that record.
Yeah, yeah.
But that could just be the recency theory taking hold. Good point. By most accounts, this band should be a bit of a nostalgia act, but nothing could be further from the truth, and I think a great deal of that has to do with Matt Cameron. Totally agree with that. I think that's one way. I mean, Matt Cameron's important in many different ways, but that's definitely one of them that he hit right on the head with that.
Definitely.
And him saying the idea of that they should be a nostalgia act. Like, when Lightning Bolt came out, I remember just being so worried, like, okay, is this finally it? Is this going to be the record where they sound like a bunch of old dudes that can't hack it anymore? And then they opened with Getaway. I was like, fuck, yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It made me so happy, to hear that Eddie scream and that those punky songs right at the beginning,
Yeah,
you know?
definitely. Because the two albums before that were kind of like the law of diminishing returns.
Yeah.
And then so you would think, well, Lightning Bolt was going to follow in that, and it didn't.
No.
It just was fucking
It
awesome.
knocked it out.
Yeah.
I can't claim to be a huge fan of Chris Cornell or Soundgarden. I love his music and enjoy Soundgarden. They just happen to be something that more or less sat on the periphery for me. Not in a bad way, but just sort of where they sat. Temple was something I did not hear until the hype meter began to break. I first heard Pearl Jam in late 91. By the fall of 92, I was in my sophomore year in college, and the shedding of my classic rock is one of the true... oh my God, I can't read today, dude. Is the one true rock was beginning to fade. This is when friends started playing me Temple, the single soundtrack, and more. I don't think I actually owned a copy of Temple until sometime in the late 90s. A few years ago, when Cornell played at the Sirius XM studios and covered Nothing Compares to You, my first thought was that everyone should stop recording music. The cherry was put on the sundae. Amazing. I listened to that track a lot. Yeah. His voice, yeah, we did a whole episode on it, but his voice is so fucking sick.
I was listening to Soundbook again today with my wife. She's like, I like this guy. I'm like, yeah, he's good, right? She said it was funny. She's like, a lot of the stuff you listen to, they just scream, but he doesn't. And I was like, oh, I should put on Bad Motorfinger.
Exactly. Or Ultra Mega OK or something.
But I was like, yeah. I was like, no, but this is good. So.
Let's see here. I only caught Soundgarden once, opening for Neil Young in 1993. I have very little recollection other than it being loud and awesome. I don't want to say I took Cornell for granted, but there really is not another term that I can find. When I saw him in the PJ-20 documentary, all I could think was, man, this guy has his deck shuffled and in order. He has battled through and won. That, and what an amazing, gentle soul. I never had spent that much time listening to him speak outside his assorted recordings. But of course, when you don't really know someone, it's easy to assume from the outside. Still, he carried himself in such a way, positive, emotive, passionate, but just super gentle and kind, which just seems crazy to me when I watch a video like Black Hole Sun or hear him wail on Outshined. The morning the news spread of his passing, I was walking out of the pediatric intensive care unit from roughly the 35th overnight I had spent with my son, Ian. He had a severe form of epilepsy and heart arrhythmia. The two led to cardiac arrest on the morning of April 5th. When the cause of Chris's death became clear, I was just empty. Years ago, I can easily say I would be one of those people who would just leap to angry and dismiss the scenario as quitting and gutless. Life, for better or worse, has taught me that things are far more complex and not so easily categorized for those dealing with illness, especially mental health issues. I was empty because you just wish you could do something, but unfortunately, sometimes too often, life renders us powerless. Ian would pass away on June 6th. Two beautiful souls gone way too early that deserved more. One I know intimately, one I know just as a passing voice through speakers. I can't possibly try to explain it or rationalize it, but I do try to reflect each passing day that I'm fortunate to know both in very different ways, and I can be grateful for that profoundly. Life is just impossible to explain, but one thing I've definitely learned is it's way too precious, interesting, and short to worry about small differences, let alone the big ones. None of us fans knew Andrew Wood, but like a supernova, his too short and tragic life birthed a tiny universe that might seem insignificant to some, but it has been very real and tangible to me. So I don't want to say or imply that I'm grateful for what happened to Andrew. It's not that. I'm grateful that he was such a powerful person among his friends, bandmates, and peers, that his untimely passing spurred them to get to great things. Without that, this email is not happening. The podcast is not happening. You guys never meet, and you're not reaching people across the globe and giving them a reason to talk about a band. Life is just so unpredictable. I think we fight to embrace that unpredictability at best, or as best we can, and where we can enjoy the spoils. On the flip side, Bagel. Well, Bagel, that was
heavy,
beautiful
heavy stuff,
and
man.
heavy, and I feel like I know your personality well enough from the back and forth on emails and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what to say. I don't know what you say to that because I'm sorry or that stuff just doesn't cut it. So
yeah, I mean, you just can't imagine that kind of pain.
No,
and to words just don't do any justice. To say anything to it.
Yeah. Well, and the beautiful thing in reading this email is that I don't know. Because I've obviously thought about if losing Aiden, and I just think that either that would be it for me, or I would disappear somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And no one would hear from me again. But to read this and see someone that didn't do that and is writing this beautiful email, and through what I can only imagine is unimaginable pain, I don't know. That says a lot about a person, that they can keep going. And I hate to sound so trite and just say, look at the bright side of things. But I don't know, man. I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, just like you said, I feel like a lot of what Patrick is talking about, I totally not only agree with it, but I'm like, man, it's almost like he's typing my own thoughts on Chris and Soundgarden.
Sure.
And just his, his attitude about being grateful. I totally understand that, and relate to that myself. So
yeah,
it's hard to read this stuff, but I'm glad, you know what I mean, in a way that he's able to listen to the show and get something out of it and be able to share this stuff with us.
Well, and I almost feel selfish because I'm getting something out of it too. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
And again, I don't mean that just to make sure, like, getting anything out of someone else's horrible situation, but, to be able to, I don't know, have that being shared with us and the people that listen to the show is pretty special, and makes me grateful as well. So,
yeah.
Thanks, Bagel Man. We'll be talking to you soon. You got another one?
Yes, I do.
How many more?
I've got a couple actually from Kate.
Okay.
What's up?
Okay, yeah, go ahead and do those.
All right. Because we put out 2 episodes last week. So her first one came after the Matt Cameron episode. She says, "Oh my God, thank you so much for your kind words about my playing. It means a lot coming from a legitimate musician like you, Brad Lyons."
Yeah, man.
I was smiling so hard my teeth almost fell out of my face. Learning guitar is a very frustrating process, especially as an adult, because I don't have a ton of time to practice. But getting that feedback from you was very encouraging, so thank you. Also, I was playing The End, not Just Breathe.
There you go.
I can play Just Breathe too, though. So I think I said Just Breathe. So
well, and dude, Kate's got an
Instagram
story today, and she's playing Chili Peppers, and
cool.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I think she mentioned that's one of her favorite bands too.
Cool.
I think you two are getting funnier every episode. I was laughing out loud a lot. When you played that jazz clip, I was dying.
How can you not laugh at that thing, man?
Did you listen to... I know you only played a couple seconds.
Dude, I tried to listen to some more of it, and I only got like halfway through it. And I just kind of...
Oh, come on, man.
It gave me like a headache.
She said, "For Brad B, must have been a rough childhood." I'm like, dude, you don't even know.
Dude, I still have some form of like PTSD around Christmas time because my mom would play this Amy Grant Christmas tape that she had on motherfucking repeat. Oh my God.
Oh man. The Christmas music that I hated was a record that it was a bunch of little kids singing, like up on the rooftop, up on the, what is that song? It's a Christmas song, but it's all little kids singing.
Oh
And
God. I hate Christmas music so much.
But see, dude, I don't know. I love Christmas. I'm just one of those weirdos.
Not so
I
weird.
love the music. I love the lights. I love the whole thing.
Yeah.
Except for the Jesus bullshit. I don't give a shit about that. But
Well, tell us how you feel, bud. Damn. Oh God, I love you. I'm one of those people. I'm one of those weirdos that gets kind of down. I think I just get like super reflective, and I don't know. I get kind of.
Is it out of like sadness over the nostalgia of it? Like it's not like that anymore.
I think that might be part of it. I think I was thinking about it the other day. I think it might just be, it's obviously a time when, if possible, family gets together, and just being at the age, being old enough where I've just seen so many Christmases, and everyone in my family is getting older, and now there's the kids coming up, and just seeing that kind of generational thing happen, and there's an inevitable end to that story for everybody, and I think I just get super like, I don't know. I wish I could. But I guess that is part of it. It's like I wish I could go back to some of it. I wish I could hang on to what's happening right now. Yeah, I don't know. It just gets really emotional.
I totally get what you're saying, but that is one time that I don't get like that. Like I love thinking about Christmas in the 80s and all that stuff. Those are like my favorite memories.
Sure.
Like the only good childhood memories I have were like Christmas time.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I love thinking about it now. So
I hear you.
Anyway.
Well, I wear jeans, you wear shorts. You know what I'm saying?
Twins. Yeah. Back to Kate. In regards to the topic of the week, Matt Cameron is the man. I've always admired his demeanor and the way he carries himself. He doesn't seem like a rock star, but in a good way. He kind of just seems like your down-to-earth buddy who plays the drums for fun. That's got to be why he's the one who stuck. There's definitely a distinct difference in the sound of the band based on the drummer changes. A lot of band sounds change over the course of their career, even without a drastic change like that, and people tend to lose interest or their popularity ebbs and flows. I know a few fell off around the time of No Code, and if not that, at Binaural. But what do you think was different for Pearl Jam? Their sound changes a lot over the course of their career, but they still managed to hold on to most of their fan base. What I'm trying to ask is, how do you think Pearl Jam maintained their stature and popularity with a changing sound, while many other musicians aren't able to do that? She says, hold on real quick. Yeah. Thanks for making Mondays a little more bearable. Best, Kate.
Cool.
So go ahead and answer that.
Well, I don't have to. I mean, for me, I think it's just they have such a vitality as a live band that's how they've survived. Just in general, no one sells as many records anymore. You can't make your living off that anymore.
Yeah. To me, it's definitely the live show, and the community of people. I mean, like for me, I'm kind of new to the like GA thing of getting in line early and spending all day out there. But now it's like, I wish I started 10 years ago.
Sure, yeah.
So I think that community has been around since the early days.
Well, and the cool thing about it is that they were really careful and like lifting up that community. Like, I think they knew pretty early on, it wasn't just about press and stuff. I think it was like they were trying to eliminate anything that got between them and the people that wanted to listen to their music, Yeah. Because they take such care in things like posters for every show. And, I mean, how many stories can you look up on YouTube or even from people that have written in, like from Australia, talking about, Eddie dedicating a song to two people that had a really terrible thing happen to him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's special stuff, man. Like most bands don't do that.
And their fan club has always been super hands-on.
Yes.
And come up with cool stuff. You know, it's not just, you don't just get a membership card and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, they have really cool stuff going on with the 10 Club.
Absolutely.
So, now she wrote another email too after the Chris Cornell episode.
Gotcha.
So what you talked about today is so important, and I know it was probably very difficult to touch on the things you talked about, but I'm so glad you did, because for some reason people feel ashamed to talk about their struggles, as if they are the only ones in the world experiencing pain or difficulty. But that's not the case. I could guarantee you that every human has walked the planet, has faced some sort of hardship that came close to tearing them down. It's human nature, but we are all taught to keep it hidden because it makes us quote-unquote weak. My hope for all future generations is that mental health care is the norm. I just can't understand why everyone's thoughts and feelings on this topic are still so archaic. Best always, Kate. So
yeah, totally agree.
I mean, I think we're at a point, you know, in history, I guess, right now, where all this stuff is finally coming up to the surface, where people talk about mental health issues, and it's becoming something that's not like a taboo that you don't talk about and you just shove it down and deal with it yourself.
Sure.
You know? And like she says, hopefully in the future, this will, you know,
well, what's hard about it is
correct itself.
Is that I think culturally, everyone's a lot more comfortable with the idea, and like you were saying, but the system hasn't caught up yet. It's still so hard to get insurance that has good mental health coverage, which is so weird, because it's like you know, you have insurance and something goes wrong with your heart and you can get it taken care of, or your liver or a kidney, like these organs, but your brain is an organ. Why is that not automatically covered like everything else is? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because that's the way it's always been.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's like, that's why, I don't know, some people don't want to change, you know?
Yeah. It's just weird for people like me. Like, it's funny saying this because I just spent, you know, we just released 2 podcasts where I was sick, but that was allergies. I don't ever get like cold, flu, strep, like any of that kind of shit. But so I don't need that kind of health insurance as badly as I do, you know, to be able to go talk to a therapist once a month even, or something like that. But it's like it's never covered, you know? Yeah. So you have to spend a shit tons of money on it. But
you don't get a flu shot, do you?
No.
Oh, good. Because you know the government puts like stuff in there where they can.
Are you a conspiracy theorist?
No, not at all.
Little nanobots?
Yeah, they can track your every movement.
Oh,
so
God.
Say no to flu shots.
They'll be bored with me then. All right. Thanks, Kate.
Yeah, I'm glad we solved the mental health issue just by talking about it.
Dude, we're solving fucking problems here, man. Changing the world.
It's all part of the B&B experience.
B&B experience 2020, guys, for president.
Yes.
Who's vice president?
But who's... Oh, man.
How are we going to work that out? We're going to change the system. It's 2 presidents.
Yeah, we're co-presidents.
Co-presidents, dude.
Yes.
All right. Is my email the last one?
I've got one more.
Okay, why don't you go and do that one?
This is a couple weeks old. When we talked about the Unplugged episode.
Yeah.
And we talked about how I said that Oceans is the greatest recorded piece of
I know where this is.
History. Yes, our good buddy Clint has wrote in to
yeah, Clint from Metal Up Your Podcast.
Yes. He says, the gauntlet has been thrown. I submit to you, Brad Blazek, that the greatest recorded moment in music history is the, all caps, studio version of our beloved Oceans. The beautiful, creamy, fretless bass. the slightly overdriven electrics on top of the lush acoustics, the timpanis bringing that undeniable orchestral flavor, the layering of harmonies like a goddamn choir of surfing angels wearing tattered brown shirts with coat hangers on them. Hell, I'd even take the remix of Oceans from the Even Flow single over the unplugged version, with the drums in at the top and the ridiculously distorted guitars. Oh, and Kiss is one of Pearl Jam's biggest influences. So, in the infamous words of one Bart Simpson, eat my shorts. Kiss Army forever, Clint Wells. P.S. Love you guys.
Oh, man.
So all I can say is, look, yeah, maybe I went a little hyperbolic with the unplugged version of Oceans as the greatest recorded piece of music history, but I do love that version, and I love it more than the studio version of Oceans. But the remix version with I love the fuzzy guitars on that remix version, but the drums are just an awful addition to that version.
Yeah.
It takes away. You're adding these drums. This is that a 4/4 drum beat? Is that what that would be?
I think
you know
so.
what I'm talking
yeah,
about?
It's been a long time since I listened to that.
It's just a basic drum beat over the normal version. And to me, it's like less is way more.
Sure.
To have the studio version, but I do like the fuzzy guitars on that version. But yeah, well, thanks, Clint.
Thanks, bud. All right.
What you got?
I got last email. We've got Brittany. She says, I'm a fan / Wrigley is the subject line for this email. She says, hi, Brad and Bubba Brad. Can you read this? Can you read this as Bubba? No, I'm not doing that. Just discovered your podcast last week, and I've already devoured your first 7 episodes. It's so delightful to hear you guys nerding out over all things Pearl Jam. What a gift for fans who are hungry for PJ talk but don't have any outlet in their daily lives. I'm listening to the Wrigley episode as I write this, and I feel like I'm experiencing the show along with Brad B. I was at the 2013 show, but unfortunately could not make it to the 2016 shows at Wrigley. So it's great to hear such a detailed account from someone who is front and center for all the action. Speaking of the Wrigley shows, I'm curious what you guys think. I sometimes feel like the 2013 Wrigley show is downplayed or regarded as failure or disappointment because of the weather delay issue. That kind of bums me out because I hold that show close to my heart as a beautiful and transcendent experience shared between the fans and the band, and whose heart did not melt at the sight of Eddie brimming with glee, relishing in playing their first show on his holy ground. And that set list, killer. All I can say, that's all I can say. Anyways, I just wanted to see that show get the love it deserves. Would love to hear an episode on the 2013 show someday. Now about the episode length. For the love of God, please do not shorten the episodes. Cannot get enough of the satisfying mixture of thoughtful analysis and fun banter. Bring it on. Thank you guys for the excellent content. Please keep it coming. Brittany. Thank you, Brittany.
Yeah, thanks, Brittany. I'll just say real quick about the 2013 show. I think she's right about it gets downplayed, and a lot of people were pissed off, which it's not the band's fault, but the whole weather 2.5 hour weather delay was pretty. I mean, I can understand people got kids at home and babysitters, and they got to get on the bus before 3 in the morning. I understand all that, but I totally agree with her that the transcendent experience between the fans and the band. I mean, when that delay happened, I went and walked around and talked to people, kind of like I was in the GA line again,
right? Sure.
And just the whole thing about Eddie at his holy ground. I mean, for me, that's my holy ground too. So it gave me a chance to just walk around Wrigley Field, up in the stands, obviously, but in a whole different way that I never did, like ever in my life. And I've been there a bunch of times. So for me, it was awesome. And I totally agree with what she's saying. And we do need to do an episode on that.
And we will.
So, okay, sweet.
All right, that's it for emails.
Yes.
I want to say a big thank you to all those that have given us positive reviews on iTunes. We've had a huge bump in downloads. The only ones we can really track, we can track all of them, but most of them do come from iTunes and from Apple Podcasts. So those positive reviews have already helped a bunch. So if you have a minute and you feel like you can do that, that would really help us get the show out there to people. Like I said last week, it's not an ego thing. It's just that it helps it show up at the top of the list when people search Pearl Jam in the podcast. So it's been a big help. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
So you ready to do this, dude?
Yes.
Motherfucking Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, how fucking cool is that, dude? I mean, I'm going to take a minute to just jerk off. I fucking love that our band is in the fucking Hall of Fame. Our band, okay?
You are fucking on fire today, Blazy. Dude.
Did I just get blazied?
You blazied us. Damn.
How's that feel, ladies?
I like it. Yeah, I mean that's pretty. No, but it's pretty special.
Yeah, go on.
No. You go on. I interrupted you.
No, you're right.
No, you go on. No, you go.
It was a very special moment in my own life that, I've been with them pretty much from the beginning. So it was awesome.
Yeah, man. Oh God, Brad, I love you, man.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, so we have had some people ask about kind of like criteria and how this works, and that will inevitably get us to the Dave Abbruzzese conversation, which you gotta kind of have if you're going to talk about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction. So basically, it's super simple and can get very complicated at the same time, I feel like. So every year there's like the Hall of Fame Foundation or whatever, they have a nominating committee that selects the group of artists for the performer category, which is what we watched that got released on HBO. And so I guess there's ballots that are sent to over 900 historians, members of the music industry, different artists. Every living Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee is part of this. Let's see, and the 5 performers receiving the most votes become that year's induction class. So that's how they get the people. I think there is a part where fans can be a part of the voting as well. I'm not positive how that works. But
they are. It's an online thing.
Okay.
But it only counts as one vote. So if 500,000 people voted for Pearl Jam,
that's
one vote. One vote for Pearl Jam. So it doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah, not at all. That's ridiculous.
Kind of like the U.S. elections.
Sometimes, yeah. All right, so as far as eligibility goes, you can't be inducted until 25 years after your first commercial release. And then this part is kind of subjective in a way. It has nothing to do with... It can play a part in it, but it has nothing to do with like record sales and, number one chart hits and stuff like that. It's more about bands or artists that have... Well, obviously that are great, but that have had impact on, kind of the development of rock and roll. So they need to be influential bands, basically. And we all know that sometimes the most influential bands are the ones that don't sell a lot of records or that a lot of people don't know about. And I know there's people that have gripes with this whole process because of that. But
oh yeah,
so it's not all pure. You know what I mean?
No.
There's definitely some marketing and press and business that goes into this whole thing as well. Not to say that our lovely Pearl Jam isn't deserving of the induction, because they are. But, some of the guys have talked about around theirs and just in the past about bands that they feel like it's ridiculous that they haven't been put in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Right.
So,
yeah. Well, Rush just got in like 2 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a big one.
Yeah, Kiss took a while, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is kind of ridiculous. But
well, I'm good.
You're gonna have Clint coming back at you, and Mike McCready, because he listens to these.
Oh, I know.
Anyway, so obviously we start off with, I was hoping for Neil Young, but fuck, man, Dave Letterman.
Yeah.
So good. And just
dude.
Kind of in the beginning of his whole thing, just him talking about the value of and importance of live music was pretty cool. It wasn't some line he was reading off a prompter. You could tell he really felt that and meant it. You could see the excitement on his face being back in a place that had live music.
Yeah. And I totally relate to that. Like when he was saying like, do not give up an opportunity to go see live music. There's something about it. I mean, you can go to a bar with 10 people and watch a band just jam out, or you can go see Pearl Jam, or like Metallica at a stadium.
Sure.
It's just there's something about it to me that you can't recreate. You can't watch it on a tiny screen. Just being there and seeing these people, play these instruments together. It's insane.
Well, just and being in the room and feeling just like the vibrations of this massive PA putting out all that sound and how that translates emotionally with the people on stage and the lights, the whole deal is just, it's a really, like you said, it's a really transcendent experience that can't be recreated. It's this one little time capsule that happens,
And the thing that proves that to me, for me anyway, is I've been to shows and I'll come home and be like, oh my God, that was awesome. That was the greatest show ever.
Sure.
And then I might catch a bootleg a couple months later, a couple years later, and I'm like, oh, like they don't sound that great.
Yeah, that's happened to me as well.
Being there in the moment, there's something like magical about it, and when you're listening to it on headphones or watching it on YouTube, you don't get the magical parts with it, so you don't experience that stuff. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, it's cool. Pearl Jam is such a great band that you can listen to their bootlegs and be like, yeah, this is awesome. But, man, there's just something about being there.
Absolutely, man. Well, and it goes back to the community part, too, It's just, they have the type of fans that are like, I don't know. I don't think people buy Pearl Jam tickets just for shits and giggles, for fun, I think most people that buy those tickets are definitely there to participate, and they're there for the show, they're there for the experience, and they're there for the songs that they know, especially a band like that too. I was thinking about it, and other bands have some semblance of a set list for a tour, and they might rotate a song out here and there, but they kind of have the set list down, and they don't ever do that, and I love it. I think that's one of the things that's kept them kind of vital and relevant, is that you don't know what you're going to get, and they have the kind of fans that love that.
Right.
Of course they have...
Yeah, because they got so many B-sides and outtakes and Lost Dogs, that And most of us, I think, can agree that those songs are just as important to us as the studio albums.
Oh, hell yeah, man.
So when they play them, you know them, you know?
Well, in a song like, I don't know. Okay, so like Fatal on Lost Dogs that was supposed to be
Right.
part of Binaural. Well, I fucking love that song. I mean, I
Right.
don't know that they've ever played it live, but even their B-sides and stuff, it's not... I mean, there's some stuff that's total throwaway, whatever, I guess, but
Yeah.
they have a pretty strong B-side collection.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Well, I mean, Letterman brings it up with Yellow Ledbetter.
Yeah.
You know? What he says about Yellow Ledbetter is so perfect. Because first of all, he says it's such a good song, but they had so many other great songs that it wouldn't fit on 10.
Yeah.
You know? And then he says that song is so amazing that could have been enough, like that one song, for any other band. Like that would be their one-hit wonder.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Here's what I like, the song Yellow Ledbetter. Doesn't make 10. The first album doesn't make 10 because they have too much good material. They decide we don't want to put this song on there with all this other really good material. So later, it's released as like a B-side. 25 years, it's an anthem. It's a musical icon. This gives you an idea of the quality of the gentleman behind this music. For a lot of people, that song would be a career.
And but that song, the people love it.
I still don't.
You know?
I still don't get it.
Well,
I just. Maybe we shouldn't have this conversation right now. And again, it's not that I don't like the song. It's just like people
You're
freak
over it.
out about that song. And
Yeah.
I've always liked it, but I've never freaked out about that song. I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, I'd rather hear Hard to Imagine than that song. Or, I don't know. Anyway, we'll talk about that off mic.
it's just one of those things that I think because they end the shows with it
Yeah.
almost every time. It's kind of like the love letter goodbye to the fans, to the crowd.
I get it.
You know?
Yeah, maybe we'll get some emails of some people that set my head straight about this or something.
Yeah.
But okay, what else about David Letterman? I mean, other than there's a lot actually.
Yeah, I mean, he talks about Ticketmaster and he keeps calling them the blood-sucking, beady-eyed weasels. You know?
God, I love Letterman, man.
In 1994, these gentlemen risked their careers by going after those beady-eyed, bloodthirsty weasels at Ticketmaster. Those blood-sucking, beady-eyed weasels. I'm just enjoying saying that.
Yeah, dude, he's hilarious.
I love the beard. That beard is just fucking majestic.
Oh, see, now I hate it. Dude, I'm fucking over the beards. Anyone
No, I'm
listening
over
to
the
this,
beards,
Go fucking shave your giant beard. I'm sick of it. I hate it. I mean, 10 years ago, it was cool. Let's do it. Let's grow a big bushy beard. But fucking all the Major League Baseball pitchers, they all got these giant beards. You know, I mean, all the fucking...
It is funny
You
that
walk around Nashville, and it's these it's just down to their fucking knees. I'm done. I'm sick of it.
Yeah, I mean, I go clean shaven now.
Yeah. Look, you can have a nice trimmed beard. That's fine. But this giant fucking raccoon hanging off your chin, look, you're going to, in a couple years, it's going to look like what mullets look like now. So get off the beard ride.
The beard is the new mullet, says Brad B.
Yeah, totally.
I dig it, man. I like that. Yeah, it's always kind of driven me crazy. I mean, people would consider me a hipster, but I don't like well, certain kinds of hipsters. I don't know. Just like, yeah, I'm going to offend people. The beards it got out of hand, dude. It got out of hand. I agree with you on that.
I guess, okay, you know what? I take it back as far as Letterman goes. Because I fucking hate shaving too. And this dude...
You think that's what it was? He's just tired of shaving?
Yeah, dude. He had to shave every day for fucking the last 40 years for the show.
Yeah.
And he was like, fuck it. I'm not shaving. Ever. So he gets the beard pass because he's not a fucking hipster. But all you hipsters, just go to the fucking barber already.
The barber. No, the barber is the problem. That's where all this shit happens, is going to a barber instead of like a haircut salon type place.
Just go somewhere.
Oh, God. All right, let's move on.
He talks about, yeah, please. He talks about one of my favorite moments from the Letterman show. How he kept, yes, dude. He kept singing that like every night. And one night, finally, Eddie comes out and starts singing that part of Black. And it's funny because when Letterman's telling the story, the whole crowd starts doing you know, so
the song Black. There was a period in my life when I couldn't stop doing this. Do 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 do. 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 Great, now we owe him a lot of money. Honest to God, that's all I could hear running through my head, and I kept wondering how many times does this refrain occur in the song? I finally had to go to a hypnotist to get to stop. Do 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 do. One night on the show, I'm doing it, and the stage door bursts open. In walks Eddie Vedder. He sings the song with Paul and the band. Then he comes over to me and he looks me right in the eye and he says, "Stop doing that." And I was cured, ladies and gentlemen.
But I mean, I've seen that clip for years because it had to be in the 90s at some point when he did that. But it's funny because they weren't on the show that night. It wasn't like Eddie was the guest that night. He just came out during the monologue, grabbed a mic, started singing. The band kicked in. Then he walked right back out. And Letterman's like, Eddie, and he's gone.
Well, and then, the guitar he gave to Letterman's son, and that letter is pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's a really cool story.
Agreed. Oh, God. Someone's calling me. Sorry.
My dog's scratching at the door, too. That's funny.
We're falling apart, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that letter was awesome. I don't know, man. I guess that gets us to the acceptance speeches, which I felt like perfectly represented each one of their personalities.
Yeah.
Like Stone is... one of the listeners called Stone the CEO. He was totally the CEO. He was reading from a prompter. He had written out remarks. Jeff was the one that you could tell almost cried a couple times. Just
totally artistic.
Yeah, just like you would think he would. Eddie has to come out and say the first thing, something political. Matt was Matt, actually. He just came out and said his thing, and that was it. Kept it short and simple.
Yeah.
Mike, I love, at least I remember it this way, when he walked up to the mic, he got a pretty loud response from the crowd.
Yeah, he did.
I thought that was pretty special.
Yeah.
And Dave Cruson didn't, overstay his welcome. He just got up there and said thank you and walked off. I liked when Stone was doing his thank yous, and he just keeps naming names. Yeah.
And at first it's just like, okay, but then he just keeps going and going and going. And it's pretty cool that they named as many people as they did.
Absolutely.
You know? And he just kept, you can see Eddie in the background kind of like waving him on, like, yeah, keep going.
Right.
And there was a ton. And then Mike kind of did the same thing, but obviously not as many names. But it was, you know, that I love that stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's important too, though, especially in this kind of a situation with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because I think it gets lost on people sometimes how much work and how big of a team it takes to keep a band like that going. Like, it's not just that they have to keep playing good live shows and writing good music. It's their tour managers and the, you know, all the road crew that sets up all the lighting rigs and the you know, Eddie's got a very special array of monitors and how he likes them set up, and you know what I mean, like all that stuff.
And there's like accounting people that hand out, like literally hand out per diem cash every day.
Absolutely,
like,
yeah.
That's, you know, the little people.
But you know, that's how it all fucking works, man. And then you've got the fan club and that whole kind of organization. You've got the Vitology Foundation. You've got all kinds of stuff, man. It's a huge machine. And I usually use that reference in a bad way, but I think it's a good thing in this one, you know?
Yeah. Well, Stone mentions, you know, the community of fans.
Yeah.
And how he said something about keep doing what you're doing because we see what you're doing, or something like that. And it's, I don't know, there's a quote about the fans that's pretty cool.
But even more important than all of those wonderful folks, we want to thank our fans and our fan club. Whose belief in us carried us through the times where we didn't believe, or we lost hope, or we lost the plot, or we lost each other. Thank you so much to the greater Pearl Jam community, whose fierce autonomy and evolving manifestation is still a source of amazement and wonder to us all. Keep doing what you're doing. We're having so much fun watching you.
But he does he does refer to the most cringeworthy moniker, I guess, for the community of,
the Jamily?
of crew. Yes, dude. I'm glad you are aware of this.
And to the Jamily, you make us feel like we're one big happy Jamily.
Yeah.
What do you think of that term?
I don't use it. It feels really weird to me.
Yeah. And Dave Cruzen even mentions it.
Yeah, it's true.
So it's, I cringe so hard at that word. It's such a it's like the Juggalos, or God, what are those people called that, like, what's his face? Cheeseburger in Paradise, dude. Parrot heads.
Oh, parrot heads,
like,
yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, I love the stuff that gets your dander up.
It's like, but like, I'll give you a good one. And this, just to try and not shit on everything about Kiss, but the Kiss Army, that's fucking metal, dude.
Yeah.
I wish I liked Kiss just so I could be in the Kiss Army.
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
But I don't want to be in the Jamily.
Yeah, it's a pretty weak moniker.
Yeah.
So Eddie did give Dave a shout out.
Yeah.
He did say he's a great fucking drummer. Still is a great fucking drummer.
We had the great Dave Abruzzese. He was a great drummer. He is a great drummer. He's a great fucking drummer. And we wish him well. Matt Chamberlain, Jack, and now Dave Cruzen, who we got to play with this week for the first time in 25 years. It's great to see him. He's a great person.
But so let's go ahead and get into this before we start talking
the
about
drummer
the
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, so Jack wasn't part of it. I mean, he wasn't inducted. And Dave.
No, but he was there. He was there. He was in the audience.
So here's what I think. I think that if you're going to have Cruisen in there, I have no problem with him being there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
he's a founding member. You have to have him in there.
Sure. He played on the first record, which was fucking huge and amazing.
Yeah.
But Dave, and I think Jack should be there because so much of the connections that happened that kind of made Pearl Jam was from him, you know, even if he didn't take the drummer role at the beginning. By him giving the tape to Eddie, you're saying? Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. So I think you could make a case for that, but I just don't understand the case for Dave Abbruzzese not being part of it. Like, right. I don't care about personality differences or any of that bullshit. He did all the touring for 10. He was the drummer for arguably 2 of their biggest records, or best records.
He was definitely there during their peak. And as much as I love this band, and you do, they, after Versus and Vitology, they had kind of a waning. And Dave A was there when they fucking exploded.
Yeah.
And it's not like he was only there for like 6 months or a year. I mean, he was in the shit with them for those 2 or 3 years.
Dude, he made 3 records with them.
2.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2.
2, but he toured on the back of 10.
Right.
I mean, so he was a part of the whole 10 cycle.
Well, this is one of the things that he said. This is from Rolling Stone. Let's see where it starts. After writing that he had deep respect for all drummers, especially in the 5 that played in Pearl Jam, he wrote, "For the band to put me in the same light as Matt Chamberlain and Dave Kaye really was a slap in the face. Nothing to do with those guys as people or players. Respect. But as a contributor, a band member, a definitive contributor to the energy and power of where the band went, the sacrifices, the work, the physical and emotional contributions, not to mention the personal weight of carrying on through and after unceremoniously and the unceremonious and disrespectful way I was fired. I gave this band all I had to give every single moment. I gave this band all I had to give every single moment I was in it." Which is all valid.
Definitely.
I think some people took some of those quotes he said as kind of clickbait and, I don't know, a headline. But, he thinks Matt Chamberlain's great. He thinks Dave Cruisen is great. It has nothing to do with that. It's what we were just talking about. He was the seminal drummer for the biggest part of their growth as a band.
Yeah. Dude, he should be... this is nothing against Cruisen, but he should be in there before Cruisen.
I mean, agree.
That's how I
agree.
At it.
I mean, as far as the technicality, I understand why Cruisen is there. Like I said, I have no problem with him being there. But the fact that Dave wasn't there is bullshit.
Yeah. And Cruisen didn't even think he was going to be... He was completely caught off guard, that they put him in.
Yeah. Sure. Well... I don't know. This is a sore spot. This is one of the sore spots with me with this band, is that even in we'll do an episode on it, but like PJ20, they just totally do some bullshit speed through gloss over the whole drummer thing.
Yeah, and they try to make it like a jokey thing.
That pisses me off. It's like, dude, you guys are so honest about everything. Or more than most bands are honest about how things work and showing warts and all. But you're going to continually skip over this thing, which, it probably was a good thing that Dave wasn't in the band anymore. Because if you're a band, you have to have the right kind of tension and shit.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about being inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Well, I'm taking it further.
Definitely.
Like, I'm saying, like, just wholesale, they don't talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, there's little snippets and sound bites that you can grab over the ears from different people that were associated with it, like Stone or Mike. But just say, like, hey, we were in this place. The fame and the craziness was kind of fucking us up. He's not from the same spectrum as we are, whether it's politically or culturally or whatever, and he wasn't a good fit for the band anymore. You know, and maybe that's regrettable. Maybe now we can look back and say, maybe that wasn't the best move, whatever. But just fucking be honest about it. That's like my only Pearl Jam gripe. Anyway.
Well, I don't know, dude. How hard is it to just have him come up on stage and, you know, that's it?
Yeah.
Have him stand next to Mike, because I'm pretty sure Mike said he thinks he should have been in there.
Yeah. Well,
and I don't know. Well, I don't know how the hall works and who gets in and why other people don't. But it would seem like the band could have said something to get him in there. Yeah. You know? But they did invite him, and he was all, fuck that. So I mean, it kind of goes both ways. And I see his point, you know, about why he didn't want to go. And I don't know. I don't want to badmouth the guy. I don't know the guy. I like the guy, but he went on a bunch of rants on Facebook about this.
Yeah, I didn't.
And it just kind of put a bad taste in my mouth, you know?
Yeah, that's one of those. But I'm not on Facebook
he made valid
anymore
points
things.
at the same time.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's hard to, I don't know.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's like, there's other bands. I mean, everyone's older now. Like, they're not little kids anymore. Like, you know, like, if Metallica gets something, like, Jason's there with Robert. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. They don't have to be best friends. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But he was a major part of that band at their peak.
Yep.
And he definitely deserves to be in there.
Totally agree.
And so does Cruisin'. Yeah. And so does Cameron.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure.
And so does Jack. So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, they're all super important. I'm just kind of bummed because he was a favorite drummer of mine when I was a kid, you know?
Yeah. And it's just, I don't know, dude. It's like, I wish he would have gone, at least, and sat next to Jack. You know what I mean? Because Jack was there.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if Jack was snubbed, if you want to look at it that way, you know what I mean? So it would have been cool because the band did invite Dave to be there.
Right.
And he kind of took it as a slap in the face.
Sure.
So I don't know.
I get it.
Anyway.
All right. So the performances.
Yes.
You know, rewatching it today, they came off way better than I felt like they were the first time for some reason. I remember kind of the first time I watched it kind of being like, okay. But this time I was like, no, man, they fucking sound good.
Yeah.
It was Alive, Given to Fly, Better Man, and then Rockin' in the Free World.
Yeah. Well, Rockin' in the Free World is like the
jam.
Hall of Fame jam with everybody.
Right.
Which was cool, you know?
Yeah, it was cool.
It's odd sometimes these pairings, these groups. I mean, Rush and Pearl Jam on the same stage was pretty, which is great. I love both those bands. I love Rush. I know you do too.
Ugh. Gross.
You're part of the Rush army, aren't you?
Fuck no.
I don't know what their fan club is. I have to look that up.
Oh God, I'm sure it's a terrible name. Yeah, that stuff's cool. But I mean, I felt like Better Man was really good, and you know, I mean, for me, it's like, you know, I'll be a pissy Pearl Jam fan. It's like I want to hear some deep cut shit. of course, they're not going to do that for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction. It still drives me crazy how fucking fast they play Given to Fly. But it was still great.
Well, Alive was cool just because Cruisin' got to play with them and just knowing that whole backstory, you know?
Sure.
And that he said in his acceptance speech that Pearl Jam saved his life. Yep. And I think him leaving the band is what he's talking about. Dude, which sounds crazy.
I can't imagine if, like, you know, if he was already a pretty active alcoholic and then he had gone out on tour for 10 and that blew up, he'd probably be dead, dude.
Right.
You know? Because a lot, you know, that stuff kind of, especially for Mike, obviously, like accentuated problems that were already existing or whatever. But I just don't see how, if you were already that bad off where the band has to ask you to get help, right. Man, there's no fucking way he would have survived that ride. You know, he'd be like a Steven Adler or something now.
Right. He seems like such a humble dude. Like when they got called up, I mean, because he's part of the Hall of Fame.
Right.
He wasn't even on the stage.
Yeah.
You know, Stone came out to do his. Stone walked up to the mic, and when he walked back, I think it was Dave's turn, and they couldn't find him.
Right.
And he ran up on the stage with his drumsticks. I was like, oh, that's cool. He's, you know, he's back there like waiting like a little kid with his sticks, like, I'm ready, guys.
Yeah.
And he runs up on stage. And then, so it was cool to see him perform with the band.
Absolutely.
And
he's still a great player.
Yeah. Well, he's with Candlebox now, I think.
Oh, really? I knew he was still playing, but
yeah, I think he's been Candlebox's drummer for a few years now.
Oh, wow.
And I think they cover Alive.
Oh, really?
In their live show. Yeah.
That's funny.
But it was cool because when Alive was over, again, talk about being humble. He like jumped up and ran off stage, and Eddie grabbed him.
That was cool.
You know, and was like, dude, come here, and gave him a hug and like kind of
put him up in front of the mic. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was just, like I said, just kind of gives you that warm feeling of these dudes had whatever rock and roll issues back in the day, and they're cool now, which goes back to Dave A. Like, I wish we could have had that moment too.
Sure.
You know, not trying not to take sides or blame sides, but it would have been nice if he showed up.
Yeah.
But I mean, they both you know how it is. They both have their issues and reasons.
Sure.
So whatever.
Well, it was cool to see this band that's gone through so much and so many changes and really, really high peaks and really low valleys. And, you know, they're sitting there playing to, yes, a bunch of fans or whatever, but they're also playing and getting honored in front of their wives and kids and parents and, you know, brothers and sisters and friends that were with them along the way and their whole crew. And that's just got to be, that wasn't lost on me watching the performance. You know, you realize that there's a lot more going on.
Mike and Jeff, I think, both talked about, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think both of them mentioned their parents like fostering totally different kinds of bands and different music.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that's, I try to do that with my kids, you know?
Yeah. Same here. I force Aiden to listen to Pearl Jam all the time. I don't force him, but it's cool when he's heard a song comes on he's never heard before. As soon as Eddie starts singing, he'll go, Pearl Jam? I'm like, yeah, bud. He's like, look, okay.
Yeah.
He's like, okay. And he just kind of bobs his head, keeps reading Harry Potter.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, it's cool when a Pearl Jam song will come on and Amanda will be the same way. She'll be like, oh, I like this one.
Yeah.
And I just kind of like smile to myself because it's like, it's one of the like Guitar Hero tracks that she's heard a million times.
Oh, really?
You know?
Yeah.
So
that's cool, man. Yeah, it was nice to see that happen. Eddie's wife and kids, and, you know, it looked like Jeff's parents were there. And yeah, Mike was talking about his mom, and no, it's a beautiful thing, and obviously they deserve to be in the Hall of Fame for sure. So
yeah, and Eddie's mom was there, and he said something. Was it Eddie that said the thing about she never told me and my brothers to turn it down? She just started liking the bands instead.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
Kind of a path of least resistance kind of parenting.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. You got anything else to say?
Boom. We gotta talk
about Boom.
I love Boom, and I think I've spoke about it before. Like, he brings such a cool, subtle thing to their live show. But people have asked, like, why didn't he get inducted?
He shouldn't be in it.
I think it's, I mean, nothing away from the dude.
I love Boom, but
he's not like an official member. I don't think he has anything to do with writing and recording of their songs.
Well, he does record.
Yeah.
But
well, that's true.
Yeah, he's definitely aesthetically like we talked about before. Like, I definitely think, there's an argument to be made that, like, I think he's so good that some people don't notice he's there, if that makes any sense.
Well, I think that's what I was getting at in the live shows, and that's kind of what I'm saying about recording. Like, they'll use him on a studio album if it's just one little part. I'm saying he doesn't record like every song. Sure. He doesn't have parts on every song, but when you see them live, he does.
Yeah, but
it's very subtle, and like it doesn't overpower the rest of the song,
Yeah, but and then there's songs like Pendulum and Infallible, even, where there's a lot of pretty heavy keyword going on. But I don't think, and I think he wouldn't argue with it either. Like, he's not the part that fits the criteria of being a part of the band, or the part of the band that kind of launched what happened and the influence they have over people and the music they write, but I love Boom. It's funny, Leslie was watching it with me, and she's like asking questions the whole time, and she's like, okay, so who's that? I'll be like, okay, well, that's Dave Cruisen. He was the drum, going through the whole. She'd be like, okay, which one is that? Is that the one Brad likes so much? And it was Mike. And I was like, yes, we both love Mike. She said, okay, yeah, he talks about him a lot. It was cool. It was cool to watch. I don't know. I think. Well,
I'm glad one of our wives listens to the show.
Yeah, she's trying to get all caught up. I think she is caught up, actually. Yeah. It's funny. She'll just randomly ask me a question about it. Well, I think that's it.
Yeah, I think we got through. I don't see anything in my notes. Oh, just real quick. When Letterman was talking about his son, Harry, and he said, I think we've got a picture of him
that
here.
picture is hilarious. The kid smoking a cigarette.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, obviously that was something that the band didn't know he was going to put up, because they looked genuinely like they were laughing like crazy. Yeah. That was pretty fun. I love Letterman.
I do too.
I think I was telling you before, fucking Letterman is just...
He's the shit.
Yeah. So, no, dude, I think
we covered it.
We're good.
It was a long episode.
Yeah, it was.
Holy shit.
But
I dig it, man. Yeah, if you guys want to email your thoughts, we are singlepodcasttheory@gmail.com. We are on Instagram @singlepodcasttheory, Twitter @Pearl Jam Podcast, and then search us on Facebook and YouTube. I think that's it, man. I think we did it. I think we did number 13, bruh.
Is it 13? Lucky 13?
Yeah, man.
And this will be out Halloween? No. Day before.
Yeah, day before. Yeah. For us, it's tomorrow or tonight at midnight.
That's what. Well, I wanted to do some sort of like Halloween themed show.
I guess we missed the boat on that one.
Yeah, I mean,
well, we can chat about next week. We got to figure out next week. So
yeah, do we not know?
We talked about it. I don't know if we. Well, yeah, we'll talk about it in a minute. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will be back next week. What's that?
I'm just trying to think if we had any like Twitter, Instagram kind of.
I don't think so.
Messages or anything.
I don't remember any.
Well, if we didn't shout you out, we're sorry.
We'll
worst.
Try
to do better. Yeah. But anyway, all right. Well, thank you everyone for listening.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys next week. I'm Brad Lyons.
I'm Brad Blazek.
Peace out.
Laters.
I died and you just I died and you watched. I died and you walked by and said no. I'm dead.
That was high. Fuck yeah. Woo! And the rest of you guys.
And I'm just going to tell you my side of that quick story. When I came into his studio and took the mic and sang Black, he was doing that do-do-do-do-do-do-do. He was doing that every night for about 3 months. And I was always watching the show, and it was starting to make me fucking crazy. And then it started getting weird. At one point, I remember I smoked a little something. I'm sitting there, end of the night, I'm kind of relaxing. And he kept asking, Paul, when is this band going to be on the show? When are they going to be on the show? He goes, I don't know. I haven't. Have you called him? I haven't. And he starts looking in the TV. Now, I'm stoned to the bejesus. And Dave Letterman, who was my co-pilot back in the security thing, he just looks into the camera, which is looking into my bedroom. Eddie, come here, Eddie. It was fucked up. I thought the TV was talking to me. I lost my mind. Seriously thought, like, you might have to go to rehab. You're tripping balls right now. So